All right, guys. Welcome to the Jaba
Jaba
Juice Podcast by Uzima Network. My name is Fancy Fingers. Actually, my name is Polycarp, aka Fancy Fingers. A quarter of a very unknown band here in Kenya and in Africa.
Underground band.
A man band. Indie band. And I am a self-proclaimed wellness warrior, or rather trying to be one. And that's the reason for this podcast. And then we have, he'll introduce himself.
My name is Kerby Mahasi.
Yes.
I'm a wellness enthusiast, a Kenyan 100%,
Yes.
an African 100%, a lover of nature 100%.
Hallelujah 100%.
Hallelujah 100%. Yeah, and this is the Jaba Juice Podcast where we are super lit, super creative, but also super aware about health
Exactly.
and well-being.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And this is the first episode, so we are really, really excited to share this with you. And we'll be having many episodes to come to just speak about wellness and mental health as well. Just anything going around wellness, And we're sipping on Jaba Juice, actually. This is not champagne or golden whiskey.
All natural.
It's all natural Jaba Juice. We'll talk about that. Actually, we should have a Jaba Juice.
Yeah, we'll have an
proper
episode
Jaba
just
Juice
about
episode.
that.
Yeah, man. So today we'll talk about our different journeys into wellness, and just how we got to where we are right now and what we do to keep ourselves sane, to keep ourselves healthy. And and where we're going also, because the journey never ends.
Yeah.
So you can start with your journey, Kerby.
Thank you. As
Share with
Polycarp
us.
said, the purpose of this podcast is to we want to create a space where we can assemble information and tools regarding well-being. My background is I've been doing wellness as a lifestyle and as a business for the past, say, like 6 years or 7 years. And it's something that transformed my life as a young person growing up in Nairobi, as an artist as well, as a musician.
You didn't mention you're an artist, by the way.
I'm an artist.
So guys know.
An artist. I make good music.
Really good music.
Yes. And so for me, it really started when I can say it started when I was in high school. And because I was into sports, or when I was in school, I was into football. And football was a gateway to fitness, which was a gateway to now everything else that has to do with well-being. And so that's the beauty about health and well-being, is once you get into one thing, it always leads to another. Because it's very wholesome, especially when you're open-minded, when you come into this with an open mind, wanting to know what works best and not being fixed on one thing, and then also allowing the information you get to be applicable in your life, so much so that you can actually now start to see it happen to you. And because it's one thing to read about the benefits of something, and it's another thing to actually experience those benefits.
Exactly.
So
it's two different things.
So because of that, I always had awareness about fitness. And then when I finished high school, got into college, and my college life was fun, and because I was also pursuing art and interior design, I ended up like doing a lot of being in many creative spaces, and that always involves creativity, alcohol, parties, and fun. And it was nice until it got to the point where it was overwhelming. It was fun, but it wasn't sufficient enough to equip me with what I needed to handle life. With the tools I needed, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So I started after high school and after college, I wasn't really physically active in college initially, and then I started to miss football again because I played so much in high school and I wanted to even play pro.
Yeah.
So I started just training with Nairobi Baptist Church and some other teams that were in a 7-a-side league in Nairobi called Left Foot. And then I started taking my own fitness seriously. So I was playing for fun and I was doing my interior design stuff and my music stuff. But then now I started to play football again and started to keep fit again. And then this is now between like 21, 22, 23.
So this time you're staying in Nairobi West, right? Was it
in South Sea? Yeah.
Sorry, South Sea. Yeah.
Staying in South Sea.
Yeah.
And then I noticed like it really helped me with my mood and my energy levels and with my self-esteem as a young guy. Yeah. Because I was living with my mom and my younger brother, and to be honest, like my mom has really struggled with her health ever since I was a child.
Yeah.
Chronic migraines.
Yeah.
I bought her painkillers every day of my life that I could remember.
Oh wow.
Panadol. Panadol. She stopped using Panadol years back because it doesn't work. Better Pain,
that's a strong one.
Sindol.
Yeah.
Pain Stop, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of also made me, because now, because of knowing what I know that sickness is both physical, mental.
It is.
The conscious mind planting that idea into the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind creating that reality.
Yeah.
So I found that for me, when I got back into like playing football, keeping fit, it really helped me like with my mood. And because again I was staying with my mom who was unwell, and we always struggled with money.
Yeah.
So there was this sense of low self-esteem, and there was a lot of I always had a fear of failure, that we would never like make it, according to, you guys know what making it is in our society. But I noticed that when I got back to playing football and doing what makes me happy, it fulfilled me. So I started to take it more seriously. And because I'm creative, I would always like learn something and apply it in a way that's different, but still applicable. So I picked it up, and then I stumbled. One of my producers taught me about, or just showed me about Dr. Sebi a while back.
Oh, okay.
And then I started getting to holistic nutrition, plant-based healing, alkaline foods. And then I realized that you can heal anything with either the right herbs, the right environment, the right air,
right mindset.
the right mindset, especially mindset. That one is the last one that I've been learning. So and there are many things that I could share, which I will share as these episodes progress.
There's so much to share,
about now the intricacies of the journey, the business, and all that. But that was it in a nutshell.
Yeah, cool. All right, pretty interesting. You know, every time you tell me this, your journey, like I always learn new things, because there's so much that happened during that time. And there's some things that you keep missing, then you mention one time, like, oh wow. That's interesting. So for me, it's been I feel like the journey started, I feel like the more you become an adult, or the older you grow, is when you actually now start becoming conscious of who you are and what you eat and who you associate with. Because when you're younger, you're just like, you just free will, and you just, whatever goes. So I'd say I remember now from maybe in high school, I wasn't really into sports. Well, I'm not a sporty man, but now it's quite the contrary. I'm really, really into working out and running and stuff. But in high school, I wasn't really into sports. However, I was still quite conscious on what I eat and the kind of people that I associate with. And I was always the guy who didn't really want to go with the crowd. Because especially if it's something that I don't feel benefits me at that time. So peer pressure to me was non-existent, really, to some level, not 100%, of course. I mean, when you're kids, peer pressure is there.
It's real.
It's real. But I was really, really keen on trying to find myself within the crowd as well, and know who I am and what it is I like, and not be afraid to say, I really don't feel that's me, or I really want to do that. So, and not feel like, okay, everyone is going to be you guy, no, what do you mean? You can't be with us, blah, blah, blah. just to have that confidence. And that's what also I'd like to teach the young people, to be able to be confident in what they want and what they like,
really important,
and what defines them.
Regardless of what the crowd
regardless of what the crowd thinks, exactly. So that really helped me in many ways, including now getting on a health journey by myself, and of course being influenced by people like you, people that I meet that are on the same journey. So when it comes to food, for example, for me, so of course there's mind, body, and soul. And if I talk about body, which I see it as what I put inside myself, and exercise mainly. So when it comes to food, for instance, the things that we've grown up eating, all of us, since we're kids, and we're preconditioned to eating certain things that may not necessarily be good for you, but you'll still keep indulging and indulging. And then it gets to a point now, as you're becoming conscious of yourself, and you ask yourself, what does this food really do to me? And how do I feel after eating it? And be conscious and listen to your body and be like, maybe this is not for me and it doesn't work well for me. So I didn't know I was doing that, but with time, I started like getting into that more seriously, getting into workouts with my bandmates as well, like our first exercises to do were together as a band in our younger years, maybe 15 years ago. And now with time, when you grow together within that realm, growing together as a band and as friends and working towards the same goal, you all uplift each other. And then with time now you get to realize, you get to define yourself. It's like even in a band, when you see bands wearing the same clothes, it's a phase. Like everybody, because we are a band and we need to be seen like we are one. So it was exactly like that. Like even getting specs, like these specs, we got them together those days. Now they're real specs for real, but then those it was just like for swag. The clear ones. When it comes to what we wear, when it comes to what we eat, when it comes to how we exercise. And then now with time, now you develop yourself and knowing who you are. And that's where now I am at, or we are all at. And with that now discovered many things. How my body works, what works for my body. Still discovering, but I feel now I'm at a place where I can say, okay, now I know what I'm doing, and now I can keep making it better and better every day. So that has been my journey really. And when it comes to also mind, what you feed your mind and how it affects you and your daily, just your daily self, and just how you interact with other people. What goes on in your mind, what influences you, the kind of books you read, the things you watch. So that has also been a journey, reading a lot on consciousness and how the mind works and how we think the mind works. And that has been really eye-opening for me. And all these things I learned later on, or rather I'm learning now, that they're all connected. You can't be working on let's say the body by itself and not work on your mind and your soul, So all those things now I'm starting to learn that they are all connected, and I'm still on that journey, and I love it and loving interacting with you. And that's why we're here sharing all this with everyone, and also wanting to learn from everybody else out there. And also, as I mentioned before this podcast, how I feel, because I've been listening to many podcasts online, and there hasn't been, there's no podcast that's done by a black man from this part of the world, or rather black people from this part of the world. And I feel we need to tell our own stories as the black people, and what we go through, and and I mean, healing is, there's a lot of healing in Africa, and everybody's looking towards Africa. But then in Africa, there's nobody openly talking about it. Maybe there are, for sure, there are there, but it just needs to be more out there.
It's true.
I feel like it's part of our purpose also, as Uzima, as Kerby, and as Polycarp, to just keep this message going. Give hope to the people that that there's healing. There's healing from the land. There's healing in Africa. There's healing happening inside you.
For sure.
Not get stuck on on them. On just on the wild things. Let me put it that way.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's so interesting, and I think it's something that I would want you guys to capture, or to something I would like to get across to anyone who's watching this, streaming this, listening to this.
Yeah.
Is that it's so ironic. Currently, I'm reading a lot of books as well, and doing a lot of work on my own mind.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot about herbs and stuff.
Yeah.
But then now I'm being more awakened, or my spirit is quickened to the power of now our mind and our subconscious mind that creates the reality that we live in.
Yeah.
And seeing that the ultimate power of healing starts there.
Yeah.
In fact, like for me, I can also say that my journey in this wellness began by me changing my thoughts, or being willing to receive new thoughts and new information.
Yeah. And being open. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just a young guy in my mom's house, you know. I used to hide. I remember I used to hide in my bedroom just to either like smoke weed or something, you know.
Yeah. You can't hide smoking weed. That's the
true.
smell.
I had a way of smoking in my room, and my mom wouldn't be able to.
Are you
know.
serious?
Yeah.
What?
But it's because also, I guess I took up so much of her own stress now that I look back. Because she was constantly stressed, constantly on painkillers.
And that defined you in a way that
so like for me, smoking weed was my way of being on painkillers, the same way she was on, you know, it would help me like not think too much, but then eventually lead me to thinking too much.
Yeah.
But what my main point here is, as I was in my room doing that, and you were in your journey with Sauti Soul, you know, obviously you guys were making great music, but you were also discovering yourself as a young guy within the band. Yeah. And my message is like, you never know. It's so important to believe in your own greatness, because you might not be out there, but for instance, if you look at me, I was in that room, in that situation where we looked helpless, but you know, just being willing to learn new things and to try different things and to work on my body and my mind and change my thoughts. And you are where you are with this great band, like touring, but also discovering yourself, changing your thoughts and trying to be your optimum. And we were on the same path. You know. Outwardly it might not seem so,
same
but
wavelength.
If you see now, it's so. Even like recent last 2 weeks, I've been reading this book on 3 magic words, and you've been telling me about the book about the power of now. And from what I can pick up, they're almost similar.
They are. For
and even like with Wangari, the other part of Uzima, she's obviously not a spotlight person, but
shout out Wangari.
The book you're saying she recommended
Evolve Your Brain,
you know, it's all to do with the power of the mind. So it's crazy how we're attracting the same things without necessarily being there together. So like I'd really like to encourage you wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you're at as you listen to this. There's what you think about yourself based on your experiences growing up, based on what the people around you have told you that you are or are not enough of. But you're more than that. Like, you're way more than that. And you just never know who is also on your wavelength. You know, they may be deep into their careers or just beginning. That doesn't really matter. But you never know how great you are until you accept it, until you're willing to, you know. So that thought process will start to attract.
Always. And you see, also that's one of the main reasons even for this podcast, because as you say, people are usually on the same wavelength. But if you don't talk and don't share, then you wouldn't
never know.
And now that we are talking about this, I'm sure there are hundreds of people out there like, oh wow, that is exactly where I'm at. And even remember having a conversation with some producer in Joburg, and we're just chilling. Like I met him then like we just went for lunch together, sat down. Very cool dude, and just started talking about my journey, just the same way we're doing now. And he's like, wow. And I told him about the benefits and even how I turned plant-based and how it's really helped me be at my optimum, and I'm still chasing that, 100% productivity in my life by what I eat, what I feed my mind and all that. And that's when he realized, he's like, I think I'm actually on the same journey, but I just didn't know. Like, you had, now talking to you, I felt like he felt like, now it's coming out. It's like, I feel like this was planned. I really needed to talk to you.
Him.
And now it's coming out, and it's like, So this I hope this can trigger someone somewhere.
Yeah, that's truly
exactly.
The aim of this is to be like a meeting point, meeting of minds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
meeting of minds.
And now, speaking of things that we're going through, man, I mean, the world is at a crazy place right now with Miss Rona.
Yeah.
Miss Rona is coming to destroy us.
Yeah.
Well, quite the contrary. We really don't feel she's destroying the world. Well, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this and what's happening in the world, and just how everyone is coping with it, and how you're coping with the situation right now with the lockdown and no work for us at this point, and how we're becoming creative with our work and with our interaction with people. There are things, of course, that we put way in the back because we said we didn't have time, and now we have all the time. Like, are there things that are happening in your life that you feel, wow, if it wasn't for this time, I wouldn't have done this?
Definitely, man. There are a lot of things that are happening now or things that are coming to the surface.
Yeah.
Because now the water is still. It's no longer a running river.
I like
so
like
so because so because the waters are now still, the question is, how deep do they run? And I've just been getting to see how much substance I actually have. And how much I'm actually investing in my spiritual growth, into my mental health, and into the power of my mind, knowing my identity. It's been, at first, because I'm someone who has a lot of empathy. I've definitely felt a lot of pain and confusion. And at the same time, like, we're blessed to live in like, you have a garden where you live, you have a compound. Same with me. We live on a farm, a beautiful
big blessing.
And we're blessed, so I can definitely not complain about being locked down. But there are lots of people who are locked down in apartments, in metropolitan spaces that they can't move. Not too much nature. So I empathize with those people. And so for me, I went through those motions when all this was happening, until I finally stilled my mind and realized that, look, I have this beautiful space. So the most I can do is, for now, invest in my mental well-being and my spiritual well-being. Even using the word being, I've been realizing that I hadn't exercised the muscle of choice enough, and trained myself to actually be, and to realize the power of being. Because we are beings. Human beings. So I've just been doing things, and now I finally have the opportunity to go deep within and find activity that's outside the physical realm. And so I've been doing my best to consume a lot of positive content, because you get to a point where you realize, hey, watching too much of this news is toxic. It's causing a lot of fear. And I'm blessed to have access to herbs. I know all about detoxes. I know all about the immune system. My immune system is super strong. I have sea moss. I have all these herbs, and I'm grateful. So my thing now has been what it's always been before this pandemic. It's like, how can I get people to learn about boosting their immune systems and being their own healers. And then at the same time, how can I be someone who projects enough gratitude and is able to be within my mind and my heart so much so that I become a blessing in this world. You know what I mean? Like, my presence will bless someone who doesn't have the access to nature or spaces like these. How can I be a positive presence rather than being a negative presence, or rather than being another virus? So I'm investing in my spiritual, mental wealth. Just a lot more time to actually confront the things, whether it's like anger that's been stored in there for years, or insecurity, or just all those emotional, spiritual toxins that have been trapped within. Doing a lot of meditation. Now I finally get what meditation is and how it helps. I really recommend that. There's especially this meditation by Deepak Chopra. You can just Google it. So Jordan and I are doing a series, and we've picked one that's called Hope in Uncertainty. Hope in Uncertainty, if I'm not wrong.
Which is the times we are at right now.
Yeah, you just Google that thing. It's $40. It's like 4,000 Kenyan shillings. And you can convert it to whatever currency applies to you.
Yeah.
But really, it's been worth the money, because I'm learning that meditation creates that room between chaos and your response to the chaos. Meditation is a space between those two things.
Yes.
And then when you are in that space, then you can find a different way to respond to the chaos,
because you're actually sitting back and looking.
Yeah, you're sitting back and looking rather than reacting or participating.
Exactly.
Being neither. So meditation is teaching me how to observe, my own being, and to observe other things.
Yeah.
At the same time, linking up with you whenever we can, and focusing on building my recording music, and also building my mind, learning things.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I've been coping with it. So, every day has its challenges.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
My thing is, I'm changed my mindset and open my mind to realize that I have the capacity to learn everything I need to learn, to overcome the things that I need to overcome.
Yeah.
So now that we can't be so physically, present,
in touch,
how can I be, mentally, emotionally, spiritually present? And then also I've been doing a lot of workouts on the farm, being creative, learning to.
We'll have an episode for that.
Yeah, we'll have an episode specifically for that. My
crazy
workouts.
gym in the jungle,
just using nature.
Yeah.
And being creative, and also watching the world be creative, because I'm seeing a lot of guys who are now forced to use their limitations to help them create things.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Man, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. I mean, you're building yourself, and that's what this time is for. It's to build yourself.
For sure.
For me, it was really tough, as was, or rather as is, for everyone in the beginning. And for us this year, I remember even telling my wife at the end of last year that this year is going to be our best year yet. I had the deepest gut feeling that this is going to be the year. Reason being how we've worked so hard together for the many years that we have, how we finally got a good record deal with a big label.
Yeah, that's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. And how we recorded that album last year, and the synergy we had together, we still have. But I mean, in the creation of that album, and gearing up to this year, and then this happens right when we're about to take the world by storm. Have an album out and go on tour, and everything is planned to the best we've ever had anything planned before, and we feel like we're all of us at our optimum, or not optimum, at the moment we're at our optimum, but we're still aiming higher.
Yeah.
But we feel like now we are ripe and ready. And then this happens, and it just takes you, this is like a spin ball, everything just, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to do, and you're like, oh wow, so now the year is just gone like that, and all these investments that we put in before, for us, for our record label, Soul Generation, all the tours that were planned, and it's quite stressful. But then now you sit back, as you say, the power of now and the power of the mind is to be able to change your thoughts and say, okay, this is the situation. Let's adapt. It takes time to accept it. Okay, cool. Let's adapt. Let's see the best way to make this work. And now we're trying to be as creative as we can with what we need to do during this time. How we can still survive. We can still make money. At the same time, influence others positively, even with this podcast, which is something we've been wanting to do for the longest time, and now we have the time to do it because of what's happening, and even personal growth. And as I said, being in a band, as I expressed earlier, you end up doing things the same, which is great because you have to be aligned. But then also you learn that you can still be your own person and still be aligned with your bandmates. And now during this time, I feel like everyone is in their own space where they're actually learning themselves and learning to accept themselves. We all have our own demons as human beings. And facing your demons and your insecurities, as you said, all the things that you had put in the back. Now you're like, okay, cool. Let me face this and let me work on this. I have been doing same thing as you, workouts with now the Soul Generation team in the morning, because everybody needs it, and we've all been needing this for the longest time, and especially during this time when everybody is so stressed, and we want to keep each other going.
Yeah.
So we do workouts in the morning, and everybody is so invested in it. It's online workouts. Everybody's up by 7, ready to work out by 8, and it just pushes you through the day.
Yeah.
Once you do that, you have your day set. You do so many things during the day. You plan yourself, and everything is in order. And then when it's nighttime, it's time to sleep, and then it's the same cycle. So all these things that we couldn't do before, I feel also has made us more united and more in touch with ourselves, within the team, within ourselves also as individuals. So all these great things are happening. I've been reading a lot also, same books, same kind of books, trying to strengthen my mental capacity, and and just be in a space where I'm happy with myself and I'm content with myself, and I just want to be a better person every day and influence the people outside there positively, and just keep preaching the word of wellness, sharing with people, openly, it's just information, free information that's out there. So we'd like to share with you, and that really uplifts me to see someone, because I get testimonials either from the workout or when I'm always posting my workouts or my smoothies or in whatever it is that I make, and someone messages me and like, yo, I tried your routine or your routine for like 4 weeks and I've lost 4 kgs and I feel so good, for about myself. I'm like, wow. So it's happening, So that is what brings me joy, and now I can do it well with what's happening. So
it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it is an amazing feeling, man.
I think that's a really important thing you've highlighted, and it's one of the things that this period that we are all in globally is highlighting. How are we, or how is our being contributing to other things in society, and the world will definitely shift after this. How we do things will have to change because of the new rules, new restrictions. It'll come with positives and it'll come with challenges. And I guess the question that is really being posed to us as a society is, how can you really be your true, the best expression of yourself, the truest expression of yourself, in that what are we living for, we live in a world where it's a capitalist world, so we have to do things with an end goal of making money so that we can get by in the society, unless you live off the grid, and even that has its challenges. But now this situation has put us all in a space where we have to see that, okay, I do make money, but maybe I never have time for my own health.
Exactly.
Which is the main source of fear about this coronavirus. It's the immune system, a weak immune system.
Exactly. Everyone is now aware. They're like, what have I been eating? What am I doing to boost my immunity?
And I mean, I don't know everyone's situation, and I can't overlook your situation. Like, I acknowledge everyone's journey. So definitely. I guess if you're in that place where it's work that has stopped, then maybe it's time to invest in your fitness, your your sleeping pattern. How well do you sleep? Do you know why sleep is actually beneficial to you? And what do you do for yourself outside making money, paying bills? Because that's for the landlord and for the companies that provide the services that we quote unquote need to get by. But what are you doing? What personal work do you do?
And this is like all the fans, well, I'll say fun in quotes, fun side, fun things aside. Let's say alcohol, or because some people see that as treating themselves, or go for party, whatever it is, which is great. Yes, I mean it lifts your spirits, but then what are you doing for your body for long term?
Because that inner work is what gives you a good foundation to enjoy life and all the other things.
No, definitely.
In a way that's sustainable, such that when those things are taken away, you don't crash and burn. You still have substance in there. So that's one of the things that this period I'm noticing is really
everyone is looking into themselves and be like,
it's good. We should look inside, and then even the thing that we can say can hinder you from having internal work as a priority. People say is there are people who are hungry, people who this period has affected, they live hand to mouth.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're not in that category and you know that you're blessed enough to have a salary, you've had savings. Maybe also the fact that there are people who in this period don't have food and are affected in that regard by this situation is also testament that those of us who aren't at that point of desperation yet, maybe we have more than we need.
Always. That's what I'm saying. Even during this time, you'll realize you can survive with little as little money within a week. You're like, oh wow.
Yeah. So I guess
didn't die.
It's just about finding a way to be a blessing to someone who you don't need to look far. You don't need to donate to Africa or to you can do that. It's cool, but we really need to start looking within us and then immediately around us. Seeing the imbalances that exist and then starting to contribute to that equilibrium. And it's going to build a more collective consciousness and awareness and a new machinery of sustainability. Like if you look behind us, this is like one of the small spots in the middle of Nairobi that still has lots of nature. But here, if you were to bring a botanist or someone who's a specialist in plants,
in this,
they would show you that these plants are existing in a way that sustains everyone, including the birds, from the water to the animals in the water, the insects, the microbes, the bacteria, to the soil, to the ants, and then to the food that's growing, and to the trees, and how the trees clean the air. It's all
some intelligence going on here that we don't even know.
And I believe that intelligence is in every one of us, and now is a good time to unearth it.
No, and just to top on that is just to be grateful and to be thankful of what we have, because I feel now what is happening right now is the world slowing down and telling you, listen, go back home, be thankful of what you have, because we don't know how long this is gonna go for. It could be until next year, and just being thankful for the home that you have, that you're able to eat every day. You have a roof above your head. All these small things that we take for granted. We take for granted the very small things that matter every day. We're always looking towards, big material things or whatever it is that you aspire for, or whatever you raise at work, or whatever it is that you aspire for individually. But the smallest things matter, man. The smallest things, and your health being, one of those major things that are small. Well, we think they're small because we don't take much consideration. Don't put much consideration into it. But your health is everything. Your health is what keeps you moving. Your health is what makes you who you are. Without your health, then you can't do anything. So as you say, everyone is now getting into that. Today I ran in the morning, and usually I run on that street. I'm always by myself, or maybe one or two people passing me. But today, people are running in families, like I could see, because people are off school now. So also the kids at home. So like I see a mother with her two teenagers running together. I see an old man running. And this is like at 7, the time usually people are at work, I guess, or on their way to work. But now they have more time to exercise, and now this will be part of their routine even after this is over. That's the great thing about this is, you build a habit after, I don't know everyone has a different time, but maybe at least 21 days or 30-something days, 2 months, a month or two, it becomes part of you, and your brain, makes it as something automatic that happens within you.
It's true.
So all these habits, everyone is picking up for the betterment of their health. is working really well.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
So I think on our next episode now we'll start to go into the details and the science behind the things we do individually. And see how we can harness that collectively. We'll definitely talk about our daily routines, our morning routines. And then talk about the gut.
And talk about the gut as well,
and build from there.
Yeah. Cool, man. Now we have to rush on before the curfew. All right, so we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you very much for listening, for watching, for listening.
Thank you so much.
Listening. Thank you, guys.
Stay safe, stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Just keep active, keep moving.
Wash your hands.
And keep still.
Wash your hands.